Chapter 3 of The Ancient Mariner. I stared at the Ancient Mariner. I don't mind admitting it, I was terrified. The whole crew had dropped dead, he'd said. What about him? He knew what I was thinking. He laughed, but it was a bitter sound. Oh, don't worry. I didn't die. I'm not a ghost. The others all fell, but not me. So there I was, the only soul left on the ship, and as far as I could tell, the only thing alive on that entire ocean. Can you imagine how guilty I felt? I was alive, and yet I was the one who'd shot the albatross. It was all my fault. I was filled with disgust. It seemed to me that everything around me was disgusting too. I looked at the sea and saw no hope there. I looked at the burning sky and saw no hope there either. But if I looked at the deck of the ship, why, that was worst of all, because they all lay there, looking just as they had at the moment they'd died. All their eyes accused me still. For 7 days and 7 nights this carried on. I don't know why I didn't die too. I was desperately hungry, desperately thirsty, but worst of all, I knew I'd only myself to blame, and the dead crew's eyes told me that they agreed. But then, on the 7th night, the moon rose. It was a beautiful night. The sky was sprinkled with stars, and the moonlight made a silver path across the ocean. The sea rippled and sighed, always restless, never still. Something caught my eye in the water below. I could see fish swimming. At home we went out and caught fish to eat, and they were mostly silver or brown, but these, well, I'd never seen such colours. They were turquoise and glossy green and bright scarlet and bright yellow and sapphire blue, and the shapes! Some of them were flat, some were round, some were slender, others were like eels or snakes. They darted about so fast and with such grace. Once I saw hundreds of tiny fish all swimming close together in a mass, twisting and turning like a flock of birds in the sky. I watched and watched, and I can't tell you how lovely they were. And something frozen inside me began to melt. Instead of hating myself and everything around me, I began to think how marvellous it all was. They were so beautiful, all these amazing creatures that I'd never even known existed. I began to smile. I felt happy. I felt as if after all these years I'd suddenly begun to see what an incredible world we live in. And as I thought this, the albatross suddenly fell from my neck, where it had been ever since my shipmates had fastened it there. It dropped over the side and sank into the sea like a stone. I was free. I'll see you next time for Chapter 4.